The murder of Jacqueline de Wallaby is a tragedy that has puzzled and polarised the minds of those who know it. Over the past 6 months, we've extensively investigated this case, trawling through files, trial transcripts, and archives, and have been conducting interviews with the people who've lived through it.
It was a sensational, startling fact that a 7-year-old little girl had shown up missing from a suburban home.
Something like that happening would have never crossed our parents' minds.
The notion that a stranger can slip into a child's bedroom in the middle of the night, completely undetected, is surely a notion that every single parent on this earth fears. But what's even more lamentable is knowing that a child killer is roaming the street, and even more chilling, they could be someone you know.
Hosted by Emily G. Thompson and Eileen McFarlane, this is The Shattered Window.
Just so you know, this show is about scary stuff. So don't say I didn't warn you guys. And remember, don't be scared.
Episode 81. Kenosha continued. War Baby here with another episode of Murderous Minors. It's been several episodes since we first covered the ongoing case of Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old from Antioch, Illinois, who killed Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber and wounded Gage Grosskreutz in Kenosha, Wisconsin. In episode 75, Sole Survivor, we went through what was known then about the events of August 25, 2020, night 3 of civil unrest in light of the August 23rd police-involved shooting of Jacob Blake of Kenosha, Wisconsin. With time, details have come to light, so we may now continue this discussion. After the Antioch police refused to release Kyle's arrest report via an open records request, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel gained access through a court order. The documents fill in the blanks as to what happened in the immediate aftermath of the shootings, as well as finally revealing the origin story of the rifle he used in the killings. We learn that in the moments after the triple shooting in Kenosha on August 25th, Kyle approached incoming law enforcement with his hands up, though they instructed him to carry on, not fully aware of the scene awaiting them up ahead or the involvement of the teen himself. Once he was out of the camera's views, he caught up with friend 19-year-old Dominic Black, who'd been acting as an armed guard on a nearby rooftop. He drove Kyle back to his home in Antioch, Illinois, with their rifles in the car trunk. Both teens told police that they were hired to protect a business at the owner's request, though this claim has still yet to be verified. Dominic Black told the police in Illinois that the gun Kyle used in the shootings that night was usually stored at his stepfather's house in Wisconsin. He explained that back on May 1st, 2020, the pair had been up in Ladysmith, Wisconsin on a camping trip, and Kyle gave him money which he used to buy the Smith & Wesson M&P 15 rifle at an Ace Hardware store up there. Dominic said that the agreement they had was that the rifle be kept in his stepfather's locked gun cabinet, only to be used up on their property during trips, and that Kyle's mother was supposed to be applying for the license required in Illinois to keep the gun at her apartment. Dominic's stepfather told police that when the shooting of Jacob Blake spawned demonstrations in their area, he moved Kyle's rifle into his home from inside the garage. He said he didn't realize it had been moved again until Wednesday afternoon, and on the day of the shootings, which was Tuesday, he'd spoken to Dominic about borrowing sandpaper for graffiti cleanup. Dominic told him then about potentially acting as a guard at downtown Kenosha businesses, and he advised his stepson to stay away. Dominic told police that he thought he'd be in more trouble than Kyle after the shootings because he had illegally purchased the weapon for him. He said that he felt Kyle was acting in self-defense, given the way that the situation was described to him. He thought he was the only one who had broken the law. On November 10, 2020, the Chicago Tribune published an article featuring an interview done with Kyle's mother a few days beforehand on November 5th. Wendy Rittenhouse said that on the day of the shootings, Dominic and Kyle went to Kenosha to scrub graffiti from a school that had been vandalized, and once there heard about the car dealership that had been targeted and went there to help guard it. She admitted to the Chicago Tribune that this was not the type of job a teenage boy should have been doing, but said that if law enforcement had been protecting the area, and if the governor had properly reinforced them, civilians wouldn't have had to turn up armed. Wendy Rittenhouse said, quote, "The police should have helped the businesses out instead of having a 17-year-old kid helping him. The police should have been involved with these people that lost their businesses. They should have stepped up. I'm not mad at the police, I'm not. They have a hard enough job as it is." While her son and his friend were in Kenosha, Kyle's mother went out with her oldest daughter running errands, including getting a required COVID-19 test for her job as a nursing assistant. When she texted Kyle around midnight, he said that he was doing, quote, medic duties, and when she woke up after dozing off a bit later, she and her daughters drove around looking for him, realizing he'd never come home. They had no luck, but when they returned to their apartment complex, Kyle and Dominic were there, having just escaped the chaos in Kenosha that they had helped leave behind. After talking for almost half an hour, Kyle and his mother went to Antioch Police. Officers also would meet Dominic at Kyle's apartment, and he would turn over the guns, telling them that he had been weary of giving it to Kyle that night and regretted doing so, but felt that the younger teen would have had a tantrum if he didn't get it. Yep, that's right. Dominic told police that he didn't want to deal with Kyle, quote, throwing a fit, so he just gave him a loaded weapon, against his gut feeling and his better judgment. It seemed that once Kyle was at the Antioch Police Department, he was visibly emotional and distressed, saying things like, "I ended a man's life," and "I shot 2 white kids." He alternated between crying and vomiting. He was arrested soon after speaking with police on Wednesday, August 26th, and charges were officially filed the following day. AWAY creates thoughtful products designed to change how you see the world. They started with the perfect suitcase, crafted with features that make travel more seamless. And now, when even the familiar looks different, you can count on AWAY's range of essentials to solve real travel problems whenever you take that next trip. I keep fantasizing about my next big trip one day, and I know that my AWAY carry-on will be with me wherever I go. Every suitcase comes with an interior organization system that includes a built-in compression pad to help you pack more in and a hidden removable laundry bag that separates your dirty clothes. AWAY products are designed to last a lifetime, and there's a 100-day trial on everything AWAY makes. Plus, with free shipping and returns within the contiguous US, Canada, Europe, and Australia, AWAY is ideal if you need a great gift for yourself or for an optimistic daydreamer in your life this holiday season. Start your 100-day trial and shop the entire AWAY lineup of travel essentials, including their best-selling suitcases, at awaytravel.com/warbaby. That's awaytravel.com/warbaby. Kyle's first court appearance was from Lake County, Illinois via Zoom on September 25, 2020. He was appointed a public defender. However, private attorneys John Pierce and L. Lynn Wood began speaking as Kyle's legal representation almost immediately. Wood had given us our first glimpse into the defense team's self-defense stance, saying, quote, "From my standpoint, it's important that the message be clear to other Americans who are attacked that there will be legal resources available in the event false charges are brought against them. Americans should never be deterred from exercising their right to self-defense." The defense requested and was granted more time to file a writ of habeas corpus to challenge Kyle's extradition to Wisconsin, and they were given until October 8th to do so. Rittenhouse was next in court the following day on October 9th, 2020, and the state's attorney stressed the need for a speedy extradition and trial, pointing out that extradition was standard procedure. The defense contended that to send Kyle back to Wisconsin was to send him into the waiting arms of an angry mob. They claimed it would violate his constitutional rights and alleged that charging him for acts which amounted to self-defense was clearly a political, not criminal prosecution. There were also accusations that the extradition paperwork was filed incorrectly. However, Angelina Gabrielle, Kenosha County's deputy district attorney, unequivocally denied this, saying that the documents, quote, "are in compliance with all legal requirements and their other claims do not have any legal merit." His formal extradition hearing was scheduled for October 30th, 2020, and the defense publicly exclaimed that they would be calling multiple witnesses, including Kyle's mother, Wendy. However, before we could even begin to digest this new development, a second arrest was made in this case. On October 15th, 2020, 35-year-old Joshua Ziminski was charged with a misdemeanor disorderly conduct charge for use of a dangerous weapon, but only after 2 different videos hit the internet pointing out his presence at the downtown Kenosha protests accompanied by his wife. The first video was actually produced by the defense and posted on September 22nd, 2020. It can be found on YouTube under the title Kyle Rittenhouse: The Truth in 11 Minutes. What the video purports is that right before Kyle's first fatal altercation of the night, a dumpster was set on fire and pushed toward the gas station at the intersection of 63rd and Sheridan. However, it was immediately extinguished before it got very far. In a video called The Kyle Rittenhouse Incident, a documentary, also available on YouTube, it's clearly visible that Rosenbaum is one of the 2 men pushing it. Once the dumpster fire was put out, the tension grew very quickly, and Joseph Rosenbaum pushed through to the front of the rapidly forming crowd, yelling at the amateur peacekeepers to shoot him. There were obviously 2 opposing groups here, and Rosenbaum is honestly livid and one might say belligerent. He's verbally and physically confrontational and is holding in his hand the plastic bag with socks and toiletries given to him earlier. One of the armed citizens in the crowd was in an army green shirt, wearing a hat and holding a rifle, similar at a glance to the appearance of Kyle Rittenhouse that night. The video then cuts to a shot of Kyle just moments later, running by with a fire extinguisher in his hands, the video asserting that he was headed to put out a fire started by Joseph Rosenbaum. It's pointed out that Rosenbaum's possible motive for chasing Kyle was that he thought he was the armed citizen he'd just yelled at. Now, another of the major points of this video, besides the presumption of possible mistaken identity, is evidence of other shots fired in the vicinity before and after Joseph Rosenbaum was shot. The defense video points to a muzzle flash from across the street of the scene of the Rosenbaum shooting and attributed the shot to a man they identified incorrectly. However, law enforcement later attributed that gunshot to 35-year-old Joshua Ziminski. When interviewed, Ziminski said that he'd fired a warning shot, but this shot is what the defense is claiming put Kyle on edge. And when Joseph Rosenbaum then grabs for Kyle's rifle, that earlier gunshot made Kyle feel as though he were under attack. And seconds later he basically was, because witnesses to the Rosenbaum shooting took off after him, voicing their desire to subdue an active shooter. The video states that Kyle Rittenhouse discharged his weapon 4 times and that directly after, 3 additional gunshots are heard in the vicinity. The defense purports in the video that no one could be sure which of these 7 bullets actually killed Joseph, which was likely true when this video was made, but by the time this case reaches trial, the answer to that question will surely be known and made public due to ballistics testing. The defense is contending that Kyle Rittenhouse tried to call 911 when we see him on the phone in the live streams and videos, but we know that whom he actually called successfully was his friend Dominic Black.